In this video we're going to look at how to use the camera app on the iPhone. Now I'm using the iPhone 6s Plus right now, but this video will be useful if you have other generations of iPhone as well. The only difference being that the iPhone 6s and 6s Plus support live photos, 4K video recording and 1080p video recording at 60 frames per second. Most other features we're going to look at today are more or less the same. Now there are three ways of accessing the camera app on the phone. Firstly, from the lock screen, you can swipe up from the bottom right. Notice the small grey camera icon when you turn the screen on? That's what it's for. Secondly, you can access it from the control center panel. To get there, swipe up from the bottom of the screen and there you will see a camera icon. And thirdly, you can just use the camera icon on your home screen. So this is the camera app when you open it up. Now you might be thinking, why am I just taking a picture of a piano? There's a good reason for this, which I'll come to later on. If you want to take a photo, there are two ways of doing this. Firstly, you can press the white circle on the screen, or you can use the volume up button. It's up to you. So first of all, let's take a look at the different modes available. You can see the modes such as pano, square, photo, etc. on the right hand side of the screen. If you hold your phone in portrait mode, these will appear along the bottom. So first of all, let's take a look at these modes. Pano is short for panoramic. This allows you to take ultra widescreen shots. This is particularly good for landscapes. Once you press the capture button, the phone will ask you to move from left to right to take the shot. Now you can actually change the direction of this by tapping the arrow icon. Now you can take photos from left to right. Once you've completed the sweep, the photo will automatically appear in your camera roll. The next mode is square. This works exactly like the standard photo mode, except the photo taken will be square instead of rectangle. This was once a useful mode to have when apps like Instagram only let you post photos that were square. Now this isn't the case. This mode is slightly less relevant. Now the next mode is where we're going to spend a majority of our time in this video. This is the standard photo mode. It's what opens when you open up the camera app. There are many options available before you take the photograph, although many of these can be left on auto. In the top left corner, you can change which camera you're using. Currently we're using the rear facing iSight camera. If you want to switch to the front facing camera to take a selfie, tap this icon. The next option below is for the timer. By default, this is set to off. Tap the icon and you can see options for 3 seconds and 10 seconds. This will allow you to press the capture button and a 3 or 10 second delay will occur before the photo is actually taken. This is useful for group shots when there isn't anyone around to take the photo. The third option down is currently only available to owners of the most recent generation of iPhone. This is for live photos. Live photos essentially allows you to take moving photos. 1.5 seconds is captured before and after the photo is taken, allowing some pretty cool effects when used with 3D touch. Make sure you check out my other video about converting live photos into GIFs or movie files. I'll put a link in the description below. If you leave live photos mode turned on, bear in mind it will take up more space on your phone. If you have the 16GB model, it may be worth turning this option off. The next option down is for HDR, and there are options for auto, always on and always off. HDR stands for High Dynamic Range. When this option is turned on, your phone will automatically take a photo at different exposures and blend them together. If you're taking a shot where some of the image is too dark or too light, then this is a useful mode to turn on. When left in auto mode, the phone will automatically detect whether HDR is needed or not. Now if you would like to know a bit more about HDR and how it works, I'll leave a few links in the description below. The final option is for flash. Again, this can be set to auto, on or off. At the back of the camera is a flash, and if you are taking a photo in poor light, the flash will help light up the subject of the photograph. Now let's quickly look at the top right of the screen where there are 3 overlapping circles. This is the filters icon. In the camera app, it's possible to apply a look or a filter to the photo before you've taken it. There aren't any real benefits to this, as you can just apply the filter once the photo has been taken, but it's something you may wish to try out. So let's look at focus. The phone has automatic focus, which means it will detect which part of the image to make sharp and clear, and the rest will blur out. Now if I hold something in front of the camera, you will see how the piano has now been blurred out. When I move my hand away, the piano moves back into focus. Now the iPhone is intelligent, but it isn't genius. Sometimes it will get it wrong, or you may wish to choose what you want to have in focus. Let's say for instance I want to have the background of the shot in focus and the foreground blurred out. You can achieve this by tapping the screen at the location you want in focus. It's very simple to do. However, look at what happens to the exposure or the brightness of the image when I manually choose my focal point. It changes, and at the moment it doesn't look very good. You notice how the piano keys in the bottom left are so bright they're starting to merge. I chose a shot of the piano to illustrate this point. Now you're not stuck with this, as not only can you manually choose a focal point, but you can manually control the exposure. When you tap a focal point, a square appears on the image. Next to that is an icon that looks a bit like the sun. This is actually a slider. By sliding it down, the image will appear darker, and by sliding it up, you'll make it appear brighter. Be careful about making an image too bright though. As you can see here, it's starting to look quite grainy. If you're taking a photo and having to increase the exposure to such a high level, consider taking a photo where there is more light. One more thing before we take a look at video. You might be taking a photo of something moving quite quickly and want to make sure you get the best shot. The camera app supports burst mode. This means it will take many photos, allowing you to pick the best one. Burst mode is easy to use. Simply hold down the capture button and it will take as many photos as you want, helping you get the best possible shot. The next few modes are all to do with video. The video mode allows you to take video at 720p and 1080p. If you have the latest models of iPhone, you can also film at 1080p at 60 frames per second or in 4K. I'll show you how to switch modes a bit later on. Now there are a few options here. At the top is a flash icon like in photo mode, a timer for the video, and an icon allowing you to change which camera you're using. The capture button is now red. Tap that to start recording. Now you notice as you're recording, a white capture button appears below. This allows you to take photos as you're filming. Burst mode isn't supported here, so you'll just be taking single shots. Just like photo mode, you also get the option of choosing focal points and exposure by tapping the area of the screen you want to select, then using the slider to adjust brightness. Slow-mo is the next mode, allowing you to record slow motion video at different frame rates, creating some very cool effects. The final mode is time-lapse. It's pretty much the opposite of slow motion. It condenses a longer period of time down to a few seconds. Again, a very cool effect. Both slow-mo and time-lapse support manual focus and exposure. Slow-mo allows you to take photos whilst filming, whereas time-lapse doesn't. Now you'll notice all this time there is an icon at the bottom right of the screen that we haven't covered. You may have also noticed it changes based on the last thing we took. This is our photo and video library and provides us with a single tap access to our recent captures. Simply swipe across to see what you've been taking. You'll also notice various options appear at the top, such as editing, deleting and sharing. The editing mode will allow you to apply filters to photos, change the length of a video, or choose which parts of a slow-mo video are slow. Finally, I'll tell you about some extra settings that are available. Open the Settings app and then choose Photos and Camera. Scroll down and you will see some extra options. Firstly, you can turn on the grid that will display on your phone screen, helping you make sure you're holding it straight when taking a photo. You can also choose resolutions for video from 720p up to 4K and the frame rate and resolution for slow motion video. The final option relates to HDR photos. When you take a photo with HDR mode turned on, you can opt to keep the original photo too, just in case the high dynamic range didn't quite work out for you. Now there are many third-party camera apps that will provide you with many more options, but to be honest, I always keep coming back to the stock app because it's just easy to get to when you want to take a quick photo or video. So there's my guide for using the camera on the iPhone 6s and 6s Plus. If you'd like to see some sample photos taken on the iPhone 6s Plus, head over to the new Tech TV website. Also make sure you check out my 4K video test for the iPhone. Both of these are in the description below. I hope you found this video useful. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe as that really helps this channel. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll be back soon with another video.